Greetings, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Maybe Pile podcast. I am your host, as always, Kiryoku Writes, followed by my co-host, Mummified Tony, or I just call him Tony. Tony, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Currently, it feels like it's all keeps tumbling down, but I feel like I'm going to be all right.
Good. Always good to see a positive outlook on things, especially when things seem to be kind of going a little pizdets every now and then.
Yeah, it all kind of feels that way, doesn't it?
I believe that's Russian for shit, but whatever.
Speaking of Russian, one of my friends, one of my local friends, posted on Twitter. He was like, yes, today's Russian lesson, and he goes off on like this actually like long-winded, not like super long-winded like a TED Talk, but like a good like 1 minute phrase in Russian, and I'm like, holy crap, he actually knows Russian? Wait, what?
It's like finding out that one thing about your friend that they never ever talk about.
Yeah, right.
That's cool.
There was actually a comic that I found years ago that it's like there will be a time in your life when you realize that you have never seen one of your friends go to the bathroom, and it's like you think about it, it's like wait. And it's almost impossible for you to actually run through the catalog of like all of the people you know, and it's like, have I seen them go to the bathroom? Have I? And it's like, well, I guess it's almost impossible to prove a negative. It actually ends up being like one of those impossible to prove a negative situations.
Pissing is just a conspiracy.
Yes.
Before I was getting on here to record, I was listening to a little bit of rock, metal, and you said as soon as you jumped on the call that you were interested in that stuff as well?
Oh, yeah. Like, I've been sort of a rock metal head for pretty much most of my teenage and my 20s almost.
Nice.
It wasn't until I like really started getting into the pony stuff that I actually started developing an appreciation for electronic. So yeah, most of my teenage adolescent life was nothing but like rock and metal.
Yeah, I decided to bust out the Judas Priest and a little bit of Wasp. I recently found I rediscovered Wasp like a week ago, and I've just been pounding it out. It's been crazy. I fucking love their songs.
What have you been listening on? Just like Spotify and whatnot, or did you find the vinyls?
I use Spotify. That's my main way of listening to music is Spotify. Secondary is YouTube. Like almost everybody else on the planet, you got YouTube. I don't pay for premium or Red or whatever the fuck it is. Fuck that shit. I'm not giving YouTube my money, no. But whatever. Wasp, Judas Priest. Started listening to an old favorite, which is Kiss. Old favorite of mine. I think they were one of the first rock bands that I ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up listening to a lot of that stuff because my parents are big rock and roll heads, and so that just passed over to me naturally.
I was really into it was about, I think, 2018 or maybe the summer of 2019. I got really into the band Kiss as well, and I think I wasn't in a situation where my parents were into Kiss at all. I think my dad and my mom had different feels and styles during their time. But
right.
During that time, I really got into I Was Made for Loving You.
Oh yeah, that's one of their. Sorry, I'm like a Kiss historian over here, so I could give you like a whole college course on how everything was. From what I've read about and listened to, so I'm just gonna let you go ahead and continue on before I stop you at every turn, like this and that and this. You just go for it.
I say that I've spent a large time, a lot of my teenage years listening to rock and metal, but
yeah,
it was more of a passive experience. I never really felt like I really got into like finding out the deep lore, or not the deep lore. Yes, the deep lore. That if you really look at the side gameplay of playing these bands, you really find a deeper lore that the developers like. Shut up. No, the sort of history around a band, like the ones that are active, I kind of like followed and kind of knew a little bit of what was going on, but like for past research, like into Kiss and Queen and all these other bands back in the day, I never really knew a lot of the history. I mean, like,
Right.
I knew a lot of the, I knew about the, what was it, the old governing agencies back in like the 70s or 80s, and Dee Snider from Twisted Sister had to go give his reason as why metal isn't the devil or whatever.
Yeah, he like went before Congress or some shit. I've never like fully like looked into that stuff. I did watch a documentary on Twisted Sister once. I think it was Behind the Music I saw, and that was about all I saw. And I never really looked too far into their history other than that one doc. So I'm just like, eh. But I do love their music. Twisted Sister is definitely a really good fucking band. You know, they I think they're responsible for several rock anthems. You know, We're Not Gonna Take It.
I Want to Rock.
I also prefer. I also really love, not prefer, but I really love You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. That's a really good one. Their version of Leader of the Pack isn't that bad. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I like when it first released. But I do enjoy it. It's something decent to listen to when you're not feeling like, you know, bang your head against a brick wall when you're listening to like some Sabaton or something. But it's like, yeah,
Bang your head.
but yeah, Kiss. I got into them when I was in, I think, middle school, and I've just kind of never stopped fully. So, you know, I know my mother. She I don't know if she really likes a lot of their songs, but I know her favorite song is Beth. She really loves that. My dad's not really a huge fan of them. He's just kind of into the classics, like the classics, like 60s Rolling Stones and stuff. That's his little domain. I'm trying to think of what else I listen to. I listen to a lot. That's about it. That's about all the ones I can go in depth about, though, is like Kiss and them. That's about all I got to go in depth. Of course, now, you know, I have Sabaton, Powerwolf, what else? Glory Hammer, Hammerfall, and so many others. Ailstorm, another big one, Ailstorm. I saw that they recently released an album, Curse of the Crystal Coconut. Been listening to that, and it's really good. I guess it's recent. I'm pretty sure it is. So I'm really liking that.
Yeah, did you see that Sabaton put out I think it was either a EP, a special green vinyl for Attack of the Dead Men? For sure. This thing is super sick.
Oh my god, look at that. That's so fucking cool. And the story behind it's amazing as well. I've read the story behind Attack of the Dead Man, and it's absolutely insane. It's amazing. That's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. The my roommate Sean that I was talking about last time, he's a total history buff. So whenever we're talking about these sort of things, and he absolutely loves Sabaton. I think he like just absolutely cannot live without him. He knows a lot about like the history that actually goes into these things, and he's been a history buff since long before he started listening to Sabaton, and he's all about like the history of these things and finding out what things were going on. Like he already knows a lot of them, but he was explaining, it's like, yeah, Attack of the Dead Men, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And then he started explaining what was going on, and I'm like, dude, that's sick.
Yeah, when you it's like when you start not dissecting or whatever. Yeah, dissecting. When you start dissecting the history behind their songs, not the songs themselves. When you start dissecting the history behind the songs and you learn about it, it's just like, oh my god. I've been a history buff, much like your friend there. I've been a history buff for a long time, and that was my favorite subject in school. I've always been into that stuff. So I always get kind of giddy whenever I see like a new song that came out. It's like, oh, I know what happened there, you know, or I studied that part. You know, that's really cool. Like Bismarck. That song, I fucking love that song because it's a kick-ass song, and I also love it because it's like, that was a really cool story about the Bismarck, so it's like, that's cool. And her sister ship, the Tirpitz, which is also really cool. It's pretty sweet to look into that stuff. And, World War II battleships, Yamato, Bismarck, Tirpitz, the HMS Hood, etc., really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. Like I like finding out about the things that like Sabaton has sang about, has sang about, and it was like What was it? It was the Wolfpack. Wolfpack
Yeah.
is such a great song, and learning about what was the ship that they were hunting? It was World War II. They were hunting some ship or a submarine that was in the seas or whatever. What am I thinking of? Hold on.
I'm not sure. I don't remember the history behind Wolfpack all that much.
Maybe I am thinking of the Bismarck. Like it was a boat that was like they were just trying to hunt down in the middle of the.
Yeah, that was the Bismarck.
Okay, I'm getting my things mixed up. Yeah, so yeah, it was a Bismarck.
Yeah, the Bismarck was this. It was this gargantuan, over-engineered because much like Germany, because German technology is known for its engineering, and this ship was just a behemoth of technology at the time, and it was supposed to be unsinkable, and obviously very expensive, so the Germans definitely didn't want to lose it, so they tried to keep it hidden. So I believe they just used it for kind of like a series of hit and run attacks, if I'm not wrong. And I think the Tirpitz I think was it was kind of used as a command ship for a while. It was like moored in some type of bay or something, and it was like permanently anchored or something. I forget how they did it, but they kind of permanently anchored it, and it was just a command post for a while until it got bombed to hell. And the Bismarck was the one that sank out on the open sea, I believe. So yeah, they were hunting it down. That was the HMS Hood that tried to hunt it down, and the fucking Bismarck, it just tore it to shreds.
Oh, okay, yeah, and now I'm remembering why I'm so like, I don't know, like I'm having a lot of visual examples like running through my head about like the hunting of the Bismarck and whatnot. It was because I watched a series of videos on extra history about the hunting of the Bismarck.
Yeah, seeing how they hunted it down and stuff, it was pretty cool, and yeah, it was really interesting. It was just like, it was a marvel. It was a German marvel. It was insane. It was this crazy battleship. And I think it was, I don't know which one was larger. I don't know if it was the Bismarck or the Yamato from the Japanese Imperial Navy. I'm not sure which one was bigger. But either or, they were both really impressive ships. And the Yamato was sacrificed because it was loaded up with just, if I'm not wrong, it was loaded up with just enough fuel to get it to its battle, where it was just going to make a last-ditch effort, because it wasn't intended to come back. It was spotted. I think it didn't even get halfway to its intended target before it was spotted by U.S. reconnaissance and sunk.
Yikes.
Yeah, so that was like during the final days of Japan's fight.
Like, we have a lot of history, or there's a lot of stories of like the Atlantic theater and whatnot of the war, and that's like, okay, yeah, it's really interesting. You got the Bismarck, but it's like, I feel like the Atlantic is so easy compared to the Pacific. The fact that nobody had to like set up halfway islands between Europe and America or anything like that. It was like the concept of having to wage war over a tiny island of Midway just so you have a refueling station so you can actually get to the other side of the ocean. Absolutely madness. It's absolutely crazy. I cannot. It adds such a different flavor and like strategy to it that's like, this is very interesting. This is very weird.
I don't know. I didn't actually know that Midway was simply like used for refueling. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, because that's half the reason why they named this random island or whatever. Or let me preface this: I could be wrong. I'm not a huge history buff, and if someone out there is like, no, Tony, you're an idiot. It was actually because of this. I'll be like, okay, fine.
Well, then by all means, leave a comment and tell us.
I defer to a knowledge greater than my own. It's one of these things that it was like, yeah, because Midway was like a perfect. It was half the reason why America also wanted Hawaii as well. It's like these are just good places that could be last stop fueling locations before moving on to Russia and whatnot. Or not Russia. What am I talking about? Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, Russia. Wait. I agreed too fast.
They're like, oh yeah, Russia, Anthony. Wait a minute. What did I just agree to?
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. I mean, it makes sense because, back in the 40s, the ships were fueled by diesel, not fueled by, uranium like they are today.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I got the nuclear powered aircraft carriers and such, which I guess they are efficient, I guess.
There was some big tragedy that struck like the islands, the Caribbean island area, back in high school. I did a small little news report on a ship a U.S. Navy ship that was deployed to one of the islands. I think it was like Costa Rica or one of these islands that was hit by a major earthquake or hit by a major storm or whatever the case was. And they were there to provide fresh water for the island or whatever to help, because the infrastructure was torn down because of some disaster or whatever. And I found out that the ship has a desalination process because they need to pump fresh water into their ship to cool the reactor that they have inside of it. Okay. And their actual reactor only requires I think it was 1 unit of some amount of water, but the desalination process can actually create 10 units of whatever this amount is. So they were just like, oh yeah, cool, great, let's do this then. We only need it for this much when we're sitting at port doing nothing. So why don't we just pump it out to whoever needs it? And if it's extra or whatever, great, it goes back into the ocean. Who cares?
Okay.
So it was kind of interesting. It's like, yeah, I mean, you mentioned that, ships are powered with nuclear engines, and it's like, yes, that's kind of cool. And then it kind of flashed in my head. I was like, oh yeah, they have a desalination process where they're just able to take water from the ocean, clean it, and then put it through the reactor.
Now, I did not know about that. I did not know that they could simply take the water out of... I mean, I figured, if you need to cool it, I figured take it out of the ocean, but I didn't know it had to be desalinated first.
I mean, yeah, because salt's super corrosive.
That's
and
true.
This and that and blah, blah, blah. And probably 1,000 other reasons why it's important that you get all the floaters and whatnot that's in salt water out and fresh water in.
Yeah. That's really cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. I've never really looked into Navy ships and stuff, so hearing that's really, really awesome. That's really cool. Speaking of military stuff, sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, by all means, go ahead.
Speaking of military stuff, I remember I was in JROTC in high school, and we experienced a lot of amazing things because my lieutenant colonel took us we managed to go on a field trip to the Marine base Quantico, and it was really, really awesome. We stayed there for 3 days. It was great. And the people there were extremely nice. We got to tour the FBI headquarters, I think it was. We got to tour there. We got to tour the museum that was either on the base or just outside of the base.
Did you get to meet Agent Scully and Mulder?
That's a reference that I don't get.
Scully and Mulder were the two main protagonists of the show X-Files.
Ah, okay.
They were FBI agents.
Huh. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, but the tour itself was kind of cool. We saw a lot of stuff. It was cool. I guess it was the headquarters. I'm not sure, but it was really neat. And then what else was it? The museum that they had there was really awesome too. And the most fun part was we got to go into it was a virtual firing range.
Virtual firing range.
It was so fucking fun because they had. We got to practice there. It was really neat because they had it was basically just a giant smart board, whatever, taking up an entire wall, and you had it was just an indoor firing range, and they had air hoses attached to these rifles, so you got the recoil. So you would take the clip, it was a magnetic clip, so you would load it, cock the gun, or adjust the bolt, whatever, and you would just out rack it, and you would fire. It was really fun. Of course, I was shit at it, but whatever. Because I was like, this is a virtual gun. How the fuck did I jam a virtual gun? But I jammed it. I was like, I don't know how. I'm like, this is very realistic. And the instructor was like, that's what's supposed to happen. I'm like, well, fuck. I jammed a virtual gun.
That's not a feature. It's a feature.
It is now. That was fun though. And then we went into like a. This was really fun. We got to go to like a combat simulator type of thing. It was like the Humvee that they use, and yeah, it was a Humvee sitting in this trailer that was just surrounded by like however many screens, and we had a driver, passengers, a main gunner. Oh my god, it was the most fun ever. So that was really cool. It was great. So it was. I can't really say anything else other than that was a great time. So I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. We got to do that twice, which was great. Which was really weird because there's different JROTCs for different branches of the military. Like there's a Coast Guard JROTC, Marine JROTC, whatever. We went to Quantico, which is a Marine base, but we were the Army portion of the JROTC, so we did kind of get some fun poked at us by the Marines that were showing us around, but regardless, it was the best fun I've ever had.
The closest thing that I think I had ever had of a situation like this was one time in the Boy Scout troop that I was a part of back in Minnesota. We stayed at a Army base in South Dakota, in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and it was kind of cool. We got to sit there and eat at the mess hall and whatnot, and one guy's like, I was like 12 or something, maybe 10 at the time, whatever, like the first year or whatever of my Boy Scouts it was that year. And this big giant Army guy like looks down at me and is like, hey, what's the Scout motto? And I'm like,
oh no.
Like, I was like, and I, even to this day, I'd be like, okay, wait. Okay, the motto. Yeah, I know which one that, like, it'll take me a second to be like, deciding which one is which for motto or oath and law, or Scout motto and the Scout oath. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, it takes me a second to be like, oh yeah, totally. This.
Don't ask me to recite the outdoor code. Never. I don't remember that at all.
Oh fuck no, never. I will do. That's something that they like started implementing right after I turned 18, and I was like, woof. Thank God I got out before that started happening. Ugh.
Yeah, I do not. They tried to drill that into us. I got the law done. I got the law down pat. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly. No, I fucked up.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Done. Like, it's like, those, yes, done.
I know you feel like slightly accomplished every time you say that, because it's like, yes, I fucking know it.
I know it, okay? And then
they fucking drilled that into my head so hard. So
he's like, he rattled it off, and it's like, I guess this boy doesn't know. And I'm like, okay, well, give me a second, all right? I'm not like quick shot McGraw over here.
I never really had that happen that often, but I always hated it when somebody would do something like that. They would just ask you a simple question, but it's out of nowhere, so you just start stuttering.
It's almost like you got to start having your default reaction to be, okay, give me a second.
You just gotta smack your forehead a little bit, give your brain a little bit of a jump start.
You just gotta,
Just gotta give that a little jump start, man. Just like, come on.
All right, yeah. Name 5 candy bars. Mars, Skrillex,
Skrillex.
Wrong.
What was it? Mars, 3 Musketeers, Snickers, Reese's Fast Break, and Hershey's. There you go. There's 5.
Congratulations.
Reese's Fast Breaks are the fucking boss. Love those candy bars. Yes, I fucking love Reese's Fast Breaks. Amazing candy bars.
I definitely like them a lot. Like, did I ever tell you the time that I accidentally bought like 2 pounds of Reese's Pieces? So again, going back to Winco Foods and their bagged goods section. So I found out that M&Ms at Winco were like $1.95 a pound or something like that.
Really?
What?
That cheap?
Yeah, it was bag your own section.
Fucking A.
And then, or maybe I'm getting the price wrong. Maybe it was like 2 something. I don't know. But it was a pound, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I'm like, oh, they have Reese's Pieces. Like they have Reese's Pieces for like 3 cents less a pound. And I'm like, huh, that's very interesting. You'd think Reese's Pieces would be the more premium option, huh? So I was like, yeah, I'll get some of this. And then like, I grabbed a bag, put it up to the thing, pulled it, but it like shot out so much faster than I expected. So I was like, ah. So like I tried to like jam it close again, and I like sat there and I'm like, uh-oh. I like put it on the rack and I'm like, great. Looks like I'm buying 2 pounds of Reese's Pieces.
Oh no.
So I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
There's something that kind of annoys me about Reese's, and I don't like it when they have the Reese's peanut butter cups and they put Reese's Pieces inside of it, because all you're doing is you're just putting peanut butter inside of peanut butter.
And plus you got the hard shell inside of something that's already meant to be soft.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me at all. It's like, eh.
It throws me off.
Sorry for my excitement about M&Ms.
No, by all means.
That's like one of my favorite candies. I love M&Ms.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, well, if you ever come visit, I'll take you to the Winco and we can buy all the M&Ms you want there, bud.
Not to mention, I have like a pound bag right here, or whatever it is, and I'm used to like gas station price gouging where they charge like $5 for a bag of those fuckers.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you're sitting there dealing with the fact that it's like, okay, this is bag your own, like the bulk buy stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. This is already a time or a means of getting the same product for lesser than normal boxed or bagged stuff. It's like, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. But then also the perspective of, where do you normally buy these things? Okay, you normally buy them at gas stations. Okay, a little bit inflated prices, or at movie theaters. Really inflated prices.
Hell no.
It's like, oh boy, $5 for a small box of dots. Wow.
Oh god, that reminds me of that one time me and my friends like smuggled a fucking McDonald's buffet into a movie theater.
Yes.
That was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, we were going to see an Avengers film. I don't know which one it was. We were going to see one of the Avengers movies, and it was 3 of us. And there was a McDonald's within walking distance. I think this was before I became a vegetarian. And so we walked down and we went to the McDonald's, and we bought like 20 fucking dollar burgers. I might be embellishing a little bit. I said like $10 burgers between the 3 of us. And we were each wearing like a hoodie, so we just stuffed our pockets full of these fucking burgers. And my one friend went a little crazy with it. He stuffed like every fucking pocket he could with like 3. He stuffed like every fucking pocket he had with like 3 fucking burgers. It was hilarious. Because I'm like, they're gonna know. I looked at him, I was like, dude, they're gonna know that you have this. And he's like, I really don't give a fuck. And I don't think these people are paid enough to give a fuck. And I was just like, you know what? You're fucking right. Let's just do it. And we walked right on in. Nobody gave a fuck. I'm pretty sure we could have walked in there with a burger in our hand and they wouldn't have said anything, but whatever. It was just funny though, because we had a plethora of burgers. Like, do you want a McDouble, or do you want a McChicken? Do you want a cheeseburger? And it was like, or a double cheeseburger? What do you want? So just tap my buddy on the shoulder. Hey man, toss me a McChicken. Whatever.
Yeah, and from my experience of people that I personally know who have worked in movie theaters, it's like if they can see you holding it, they have to say something. But if you're at all hiding it, even if it's blatantly obvious that's what you're doing, they're like, I don't care. I can't see the product, so whatever. I'm not even going to bother with it.
No, it's like they're holding it, and you're like, I don't see anything, and you're just like staring at the ceiling. I don't see anything. Go on in, man. I don't see anything. You walk in, and the usher is literally wearing a fucking blindfold. It's like, go on in, man. Go on in. I don't think you have anything. Go on in. Like, people just taking like Subway sandwiches in.
I think the most, I don't know, decadent or the most elaborate thing that I think I've ever brought into movie theater was I've snuck like a whole In-N-Out combo, like fries, burger, drink, or not drink. I think I had to finish that in the car. Combo into Avatar when it was still in theaters.
Okay.
So that was about all as worst as I have ever done.
I would hate doing the French fries. I'd be afraid they'd spill everywhere. Unless you would get like a container of fries, and then you would have or get like 2 containers of fries. You eat one, and then you use the second container as like a lid, so you kind of seal it up. Maybe something like that. I don't know.
Oh, right. Well, I went with somebody...
Smuggling tips with K.
Yeah, and then I went with someone who happened to have a purse, so...
Okay. Well, that just makes it way easier.
Yeah, you can smuggle a small baby in some of these purses people wear.
You can fit just about anything in those fucking things. I haven't been to a movie theater... Before all this crap started, I haven't been to a theater in for fucking ever. I need to go see a movie as soon as all this shit blows over.
The world and the sort of waiting that we're all doing for like the first movie theater to be like, okay, everything's fine now. And not like, oh, everything's fine because we have to open up the economy again. Fine. It's actually fine. Everything is okay. Just be smart. The first movie that comes out is definitely going to be like, everybody's just going to be rushing to it because they're just like, give me the heck out of my house. Let me go someplace. Let me into the theater. From what I've understood and what I've been hearing from sources, source on this one for me would be The Weekly Planet, a podcast where they talk about movies, comics, and TV shows and whatnot, and sort of like news that relates to it. They were talking about how it's like apparently Christopher Nolan's Tenet is going to be sort of essentially the canary in the coal mine for a lot of the movie industry, being like, okay, we're not going to release any movies until Tenet is released and does well. It's like if Tenet goes to the theaters and it bombs because nobody's going out to the theaters, then we're holding off for, until 2021. So it's like, okay, so what does that mean? Well, I explained what it means, but it's interesting how it's like, yes, Tenet is supposed to be the next big movie that's supposed to be coming out, and that's the one we're all going to wait for, and that's the one that's going to tell us what the sort of health of the movie industry is at. Or at least the movie goers. The movie-going industry, not the movie production industry. I'm
just looking forward for theaters, for when the theaters open. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm more or less hoping for, because I just want to get that. I don't know. I just want to get out of my fucking place and go and watch a film, because I know people are like, oh, I don't know how much longer the theater industry is going to last, but man, you can't really beat a movie theater experience.
No, it may have a sizable downshift in number of options and number of theaters that are out there, but for sure it's going to have to be, I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, reduced. Yeah.
I know one of the malls, actually the only mall that's in my area, is like, it's fucking sad. You go down there and it's just sad. So all of their main stores, I guess you would call their anchor stores or whatever, like the big ones, they're all gone. Because the Sears closed, the Bon-Ton closed many years ago now. Mm-hmm. And then now the JCPenney is closing down. Mm-hmm. So you have like all of the large, department stores, or I guess they're department stores. Is that what they are? Yeah.
The main anchors are typically department stores: JCPenney, Sears, Macy's.
Yeah, they're all gone from there now. JCPenney is closing currently.
Burlington Coat Factory.
I remember seeing commercials for that. It's like, yeah, Burlington. It's like, okay.
Marshalls.
I've never been inside one. Like, there's none in my area, so it's just like, neither have I ever.
Nordstrom's.
No. Yeah, so that mall, I don't know how long it's going to survive, because it's just kind of sucking right now.
Best Buy.
Yeah, don't see very many of those.
Barnes & Noble.
I'm trying to think of what's left in that mall. It's just...
Suncoast.
It's just like a bunch of crap that's left in there. There's a Spencer's that's in the mall.
Yeah, Spencer's will never die.
They're not as good as they used to be. Actually, they're
Honestly,
not really that good at all anymore.
Yeah, that's like, ooh, great. Slightly sexual and weed stuff. All right, I guess I'm just going to go back over to Hot Topic.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they have straight up sex toys in there now, which is fine. Whatever, you sell what you want.
They've always had that there.
Yeah,
It's
they've always
had
that. But yeah, I'm trying to I don't know. They just used to have really really good shit, and now it's just they just don't have anything good anymore. They just have cheap t-shirts, cheaply made t-shirts that are fucking expensive in there. They just have t-shirts, hats, handbags, little purses and shit, and that's it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm done. I just said that was it.
Okay. I honestly haven't cared about the mall going experience in years. I think the last time I was really yeah, you know what I want to do? I want to go to the mall was probably back I don't know, sometime. I think it was back when I was still going to GameStop to pick up video games and whatnot. So whenever the last I think it was when Wings of Liberty or Heart of the Swarm or one of the three. When one of the first two expansions to StarCraft 2 came out. I think that was the last time I really cared about going to the mall because, I had to go into the GameStop to go pick up the game or whatever. Yeah. But after that, it was just whatever. I do not care. Because it is all products that are designed and manufactured to sort of speak to the largest population possible. And personally for me, it's okay, well, I don't want that. I don't want to buy the same thing that 15 other people that day are going to be wearing. I want to find the unique and singular items that nobody else has. If I see someone else wearing the same shirt as me, I'm fucking done. I'm out. I could not even bother with that shirt anymore. The only exception to that, obviously, is when I'm wearing any of my old pony stuff and I happen to be at a pony con. It's okay, well, that's just a meeting of the extremely niche thing that I actually like being in a place where that niche thing is highly sought after, or not highly sought after, but highly supported.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Totally understand. I mean, when you go to a mall, usually the stores, like you said, they're going to sell popular things. They're going to sell things that everybody, usually many people, not everybody, but many people want to buy the same object or same clothing, mainly clothing in that regard, I guess. Because you can't cater to everybody, even though stores will certainly try because they want to sell as much as possible, which makes sense because you're a business and your goal is to make profit. So, whatever.
Obviously, it's the direction the store wants to go to make as much money versus the direction I want to go to maintain a uniqueness and nonconformity, no matter how trivial and unimportant that nonconformity actually can be. Trying to be a nonconformist is conforming to something else, in fact, but whatever, that's some other argument to say. The only way that I've kind of found a way to sort of subvert or go around this is to scour the clearance rack, actually. Because there's some really cool and unique things that you can find in the Hot Topic clearance rack that is okay, well, clearly these things need to be marked down because not a whole lot of people bought them. So therefore, great, not a lot of people bought them. Well, and then the other thing, they're very niche or unique things that not a lot of people are probably going to be into. And a lot of it's all right, I kind of don't like this shirt. I kind of don't like this shirt. There's nothing here that's really grabbing me. But every once in a while I'm oh, hey, this tank top's actually pretty cool. I kind of want to go in on it.
Oh, yeah. I've noticed that if you're in the right place at the right time, a clearance aisle can be a fucking gold mine. Yeah, definitely. I want to stay on the topic of malls for just a second. I would say I don't think brick and mortar is ever going to fully die because the reason I go to the mall, and the reason I go to places like that before and after this pandemic crap is because, well, there's really not much else to do up here in the mountains. There's not a lot to do. So even if you don't buy anything, it's just like, just going out and just like, whatever, because like I'll talk to one of my friends, and we've done this like a couple of times now. I'll text him. I'll be like, hey man, you want to go out for like a buffet, and then maybe trot around the mall a little bit. It's like, yeah, sure, why not? It's like, okay, cool. So we'll just walk around the mall for a while and try to force ourselves to not buy the cheap shit that we see that we kind of like. And I still like buying physical video games. Like, I still like buying the physical media, even though I'm pretty sure the PS5 is probably going to be Sony's last physical media console, especially considering that they have a physical version and a digital version of the console. Like one that takes discs and one that doesn't. So I'm sure that's on its way out, but whatever. Either way, that doesn't matter to me. But I still do go to GameStop occasionally. I try not to, though, because I know that their stuff isn't that great. I don't know. I've had problems with their stuff in the past, but also I've had really good experiences with them in the past, so it's kind of 50-50. Spencer's already covered that. That horse is dead. It used to be really unique. Now it's just clothing, shot glasses, and mugs, and sex toys, and that's about all. Nothing wrong with those things, but they're not very unique. So that's that. Trying to think of other things. Yeah, that place just doesn't really have any draws anymore, so it just doesn't have anything that you want to walk around in, other than there is an FYE store in the mall in my area that I walk around occasionally. It is pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, and I feel like FYE actually does still serve a purpose. That I don't know, it's just more. I don't know. It's like, okay, yeah, it's a little bit brighter. It still has the same like clothing that a Hot Topic might have in comparison to like I don't know. It's like, yeah, FYE has the clothes and DVDs and snacks and other pop culture things that I don't know. I don't know. It's just another store that kind of works. But
yeah. I think that I think that if you have a store that caters to pop culture in the right way, if you know what to sell, when to sell it, and how to market it, you're going to do really well. If you cater to pop culture, you're going to do really well if you do it in the right ways.
I feel like if you are going to cater to what's hot and what's new, you need to find something that's actually different. I messaged you about the products that you would probably want to sell in your store, because I found that ad for UA or My Hero Academia sweatpants and matching runner outfits and whatnot that are designed and look like colors for different students and heroes at this school. And it's like, okay, great, fantastic. This is actually something different. If you're going to be catering to pop culture, you can't just say, okay, here's some art and slap it on a t-shirt. That doesn't work. And there's 1,000 other companies that are already doing that. So if you're just sitting there trying to just take some funny pop culture references or like mashup references, like, oh, here's Calvin and Hobbes, but it's the style of Calvin and Hobbes, but really it's All Might and Deku. It's like, no, this doesn't work. You just can't constantly be doing this. Yeah, you're going to find a couple of people that are really into that one thing, and they'll be like, oh, this is really funny. I'll just buy this real quick. But if you really want to stand out, you need to make sure that you're actually making products and items that are different enough that's going to draw people's attention. You got to start like finding ways to make custom cuts and custom makes of these things. You can't just, oh, here's the same American Apparel shirt, though a very nice shirt. It was slapped with, whatever new design and whatnot on it. Yeah. It's like, you gotta make new things. You gotta put out new specs for different items. You gotta go to manufacturers and be like, here, make something different, make something new. And it's like, okay, great, this is up to our interests. Let's roll with it.
Yeah, I totally agree. You always have to be pushing the boundaries and doing more and more unique things. I just like how it's kind of funny though, because if you do something unique and you replicate it and it gets popular, eventually it's going to be big enough to where people are going to think it's cool to hate. So people aren't going to want to buy your stuff anymore because they're going to be like, oh, I don't want to get that. It used to be unique, but now everybody has that. So now I want something new and something different.
And if you're still selling the same crap that you were selling that is now being reproduced by somebody else, and it's gotten to the point that they don't want to buy your shit, well, guess what? You're too slow. You should already be working on the next thing. The second you say, okay, manufacturer, this is up to spec of what we want our product to be, that's when you need to be working on the next thing that isn't just the exact same last thing. If you're sitting there not making a new thing, that's stagnation and you're going to fail.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right. I totally agree with you. You have to be constantly innovating. I feel like it's almost kind of like a strange balance, if you will, because you have to be constantly innovating, but also you have to if you have a model that works for you and you're making good money off of it, it's kind of like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but you also have to be constantly innovating. You don't want to try to over-engineer your product to the point where it's, just
it's suddenly a Bismarck
stupid.
And you don't want it to be sank.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to pull in that type of reference, but yeah, it looks like I did anyway. Yeah,
full 360.
You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to over-engineer something to the point where or overdo it. Just overdo. You don't want to overdo something to the point where people just don't like it. It looks stupid, or it's just like whatever, But you also want to keep being innovative, and you also want to keep being different. It's I feel like it's a little bit of a struggle, and I feel like that's a struggle that all businesses have, successful or no. That's a struggle
sure.
that everybody has. So,
there was a great line out there that I saw that it's like, as a creator, as a whatever, everything you do in your life, you should always be at the point where you can just barely feel the ground underneath you. If you're out swimming in the ocean, you should always be at the point where your feet are just about to leave the ground, and that's the point that you want to stay at. If your feet are solid on the ground while you're trying to get out there, you're not pushing yourself enough to grow. And if you're at the point where you can't touch the ground, that's scary, and you can't necessarily always live there.
Right.
David Bowie, by the way, was who said that.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Your feet should always be just at the point where you're not touching the ground.
Nice. I like that quote. That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
I guess we'll do a little bit of a gear shift here. I'm looking at my PC screen, and I'm seeing lots of ads for The Last of Us Part 2. Definitely excited for that to come out.
Sure. I
know you're not into it.
I will default to an expertise that is better than my own.
I just wanted to shift the topic because that ad has been staring me in the face for like the past. How long have we been recording? 54 minutes. Holy shit. We've been recording for almost an hour, and that ad has been, like, Ellie's intense stare has just been staring me in the face this whole fucking time, and I'm like, I want to talk about that ad. So.
Apparently it has worked, and
yeah,
it has gotten to you.
It's like, damn it. No, yeah, that has been staring at me. I am excited for the part 2. I know, like, there's been a bunch of fucking leaks. I have been fortunate enough to stay the fuck away from said leaks. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness. I don't want any spoilers. Because the first game was really, really cool. And I hope the second game is really, really cool, too.
Oh, yeah, about that. Spoilers, she plays a guitar.
No. Yeah.
No.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw the reveal trailer, and she's like playing guitar. Yeah.
I saw like some video where it's like apparently you can actually like you rotate a thumbstick or something and you strum, like you move your hand on the like sensor bar or whatever that's on a the PlayStation controller.
The touchpad?
Yeah, the touchpad, and it like strums the guitar as you play or whatever.
That's cool, like, but it feels like it. The way you're describing it sounds like it would be a little awkward to hold it in that way. I'm not sure.
I don't know which thumb it would have been. Or
I would
whatever,
almost rather have a guitar controller at that point, but whatever.
You're just busting out your Guitar Hero controller for that one part of a video game.
Don't try to be Guitar Hero, Naughty Dog. Just don't do it.
Oh God, no!
Just don't try to be Guitar Hero.
Naughty Dog, Red Octave merger.
God, nah. All right. I see that GTA 5 is going to come to PS5 as well.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
I can't wait either because I'm actually excited about that. Everybody else and their fucking brother is apparently not happy about that, but I really don't give a flying fuck because I like that game and I've been playing it for 7 fucking years. Why not play it for another 7?
It's been the only game they put out for 7 years.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay, well, yeah, but like Team GTA.
Yeah, that's it's been a while. I think I did see some news where apparently GTA 6 is still in. I don't think they said. I think it's out of concept. It's out of the concept stage, but I think it's still in. I don't know what it's. I don't know what it's somewhere in development hell. That's all I know. It's somewhere in developer hell. That's all I got. And it's just cooking in there. I don't know where it is though, but it's still in like the early stages. So it's going to be a long time before we see GTA 6. But what I'm thinking is they're probably going to do what I would assume they're going to do what they did with GTA 5 with the PS3 and the PS4. Towards the end of the PlayStation 5's life cycle, they're probably going to come out with GTA 6. And during the next console generation, they're probably going to re-release it on that console, and that's when that game is going to have its heyday. That's what I'm thinking. Well, I'll be fucking 30 by then, or I'll be fucking 30 by then, but yeah.
To sort of like, I don't know, bring more of my, okay, so to bring up some of my, counterpoints that I was made aware of about GTA and the fact that you have been playing it for the last 7 years. In 7 years of development for the rest of the Grand Theft Auto team, they made from 1997 to 2004, 7 years, they made GTA 1, 2, 3, Vice City, San Andreas. All in 7 years. They made all those games. And yet, in 7 years, they've just redone Grand Theft Auto. They've, updated and updated and updated Grand Theft Auto 5. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying, like, Grand Theft Auto should be a yearly release game like it is with Call of Duty and whatnot, because I don't want that. But at the same time, I feel like games like Grand Theft Auto 5, it's like, okay, what are we doing? Like, obviously, I've never played the game, so I obviously full-heartedly will defer to your expertise on the matter. But this whole time, would you have wanted Grand Theft Auto 5 to have stayed Grand Theft Auto 5 this entire time? Or let's say 3 years into its development, let's say in 2016, they came out with a different Grand Theft Auto or a new Grand Theft Auto. Do you think that would have been better, or do you think your experience would have been heightened by that?
Well, I don't really know how to respond because obviously that didn't happen. So I'm going to try and think of something. Let's see here. Well, I realize what you're saying. It's like in the past they came out with several GTA games in relatively quick succession. But, and I'm thinking, my assumption is that the reason that has slowed down to a literal slower than a crawl, like molasses on a cold winter day.
Like, it's come to a halt, but yet they're still making updates and new events and whatnot.
Yeah. Excuse me. Well, I would say that like I said, I've been playing this game since its release. 7 years in that I've put into that fucking game. I do enjoy the game. Obviously, I wouldn't play it for so long if I didn't. But do I wish that they would have come out with another GTA? I think a new Grand Theft Auto on the PS4, like they did with Red Dead Redemption, that would have been nice to see, and that I think that would have made for a really, really amazing experience. But you also have to realize that games they have always been an extremely difficult, challenging thing to produce. From then until now, it's always been extremely hard. And I think the reason why now it takes so much longer for games to be released is because technology has advanced and it's become extremely... game developers have been given the opportunity to become extremely meticulous at everything they do. They can add like small little references into the background as a character walks by a thing and you might not even notice. But from the tiny Easter eggs to amazing features, like game-changing features. Like what? I might not be able to give an example right now because I'm not really sure. But, things have changed from the days of, GTA 3, GTA Vice City, San Andreas, GTA 4 to GTA 5. A lot of things have changed. And I'm thinking that games are taking a lot longer to make now because the developers have a lot more things to consider and they have a lot more things to make. They have a lot more things that they have to develop. So I think that's why GTA 6 has been stuck in development hell for so long. Do I feel like Rockstar is milking GTA 5? Yes, I do. I know they are. They're beating a dead horse. Kind of, not really quite dead yet, but they are really milking it. I know they are. But with GTA 5, that single game alone being the highest grossing media in the history of the world, being worth more than Star Wars, being worth more than Harry Potter, that game alone has made this company $6 billion. That one game alone has made them billions of dollars. So, of course, they're going to keep going until they can't anymore. But when they release a new update, I can safely say I have fun with it. So, as a gamer, and from my business perspective, it does make sense. Do I want them to come out with the GTA 6 soon? Yes. Would I love to see a GTA 6 for the PlayStation 5? Hell yes. Do I think we're going to see one? Not until the end of the PlayStation 5's life cycle. That's what I'm thinking. I realize I just kind of threw a lot of not quite coherent thoughts at you, but that's my trying to explain my point of view on it. It's a little jumbled, but that's what I can give.
Well, I mean, it's like, okay, so I've sort of, I understand where you're coming from on this, and I understand, like, obviously, from your perspective, it's like, okay, yeah, I would love a new game, but at the same time, your gameplay hasn't been diminished by the lack of a game. They've still been updating the game that you want to play, obviously. Yeah. During that time frame, though, I looked up, like, okay, obviously I've got the list of Grand Theft Auto games here in front of me. And by the way, if between Grand Theft Auto 1 and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, that's 7 years. Between Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft... So Grand Theft Auto 4 was 6 years between 4 and 5. But yet there's 7 years between 4 and 2. So it's like, okay, well, maybe it's just the fact that they were just trying something else. But at the same time, I'm sitting here looking at everything that has come out from from Rockstar in total from the release of Grand Theft Auto 5 on the original Xbox One and PlayStation 4. The first consoles that they came out for. Sorry, no, my apologies. Grand Theft Auto 5 was originally set up on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. So at this point, we're 2 consoles into this game.
Soon to be 3.
September 17th, 2013. Soon to be 3, if they in fact, since they in fact announced that it will be on the PlayStation 5. Is that correct?
It will. A standalone version of GTA Online will be on the PlayStation 5, and also a little bit of cool news is that for the first 3 months of GTA 5's life on the PlayStation 5, you will get to play for free without PlayStation Plus, if I read that article right from PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. But, yeah, back to what you were saying.
I'm looking at the list here, and I'm trying to find a single game that wasn't a re-release and was not Red Dead Redemption.
You're not going to find it.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm, honestly. There's, Manhunt, re-release. Max Payne, re-release. The Warriors, re-release. Red Dead Revolver, re-release. Bully Anniversary Edition, LA Noire, the VR case files, re-release and a VR update. They haven't made a single game other than Red Dead Redemption in 7 years. It's all been updates. And that's for all of Rockstar.
Yeah.
All of the games made by Rockstar, even they're under companies like Rockstar North or War Drum Studios or DMA Designs or any other Rockstar or other subsidiary company or sister company or whatever. It's like, no, the only game that they have made that is new has been Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto 5.
I'm curious, how long has it been between Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2? I'm just curious.
Red Dead Redemption. Sorry, hold on. Let me get to Red Dead Redemption, and then let me see, set in the Red Dead series. Okay, Red Dead series of games. Which, by the way, there are only 6 titles.
6? Okay.
There's only 6 entries in the list of things released under this game. There's Red Dead Revolver, 2004.
Right.
Red Dead Redemption, Gunslingers, apparently is what it was called, 2010. Red Dead Redemption, 2010, Undead Nightmare. So, you have the 2 expansions or whatever.
Okay, yeah. I think Undead Nightmare was like a standalone. I don't know how it was.
I think it was a... I don't think it was like a Blood Dragon standalone. I think it was an actual DLC.
Okay.
Or sorry, not DLC. Add-on expansion.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's it.
Anyway, 2018, Red Dead Redemption 2. Right. 2019, Red Dead Online. So it's like, Red Dead Redemption to Red Dead Redemption 2 was 8 years. But that was sort of going from a reboot from Red Dead Revolver to Red Dead Redemption. It's like, you kind of took the universe and you rebooted sort of into this new series, sort of. It's like the difference between Demon Souls and Dark Souls. It's like, these are 2 separate things.
Yeah.
At the end of Red Dead Redemption, nobody was sitting there saying, it's like, what I really want? A Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, there's probably somebody out there that said it, but it's the fact that it's like, it wasn't a part of an already existing series at that time.
Right.
And it wasn't like, it's like, we've had 4 other games that are Red Dead games. Now, where's the next one, so to speak? So there's not an expectation to the Red Dead franchise, as compared to what I'm trying to point out here, the Grand Theft Auto series.
Right.
Like,
I'm leading up to a
Rockstar
point with this, by the way. So go ahead and keep going.
So it's just like, this is where it is. This is the world we're living in, where Rockstar only wants to put out Red Dead stuff, or Red Dead and GTA. And to your point, though, honestly, if it's the one thing that's making them money and it's the one thing that's making them the most money, I can understand how they're like, we want to focus on this thing because it is our biggest cash cow, I guess.
Okay. So, sorry. So,
go ahead. By all means.
Okay. Well,
speak your piece. Go ahead. By all means.
All right. So
you do you. All you. I'm done.
It's fine. So, well, I mean, you're right. It's taking forever for them to release stuff. Nearly the better part of a decade, and that's insane. But you would expect nearly any other gaming company to crumble under that amount of, wait time, and they haven't. When I feel like Rockstar is a very unique gaming company in that their name carries a certain amount of prestige with it. Like when they announced Red Dead Redemption 2, they don't have to go to a gaming convention. They don't have to go to E3. They don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to go to an event. All they have to do is maybe throw up a few commercials on the television, and they just have to throw up a few online ads and post a few tweets, and everybody is foaming at the fucking mouth for their next product. So I feel like they are like I said, they're a unique type of company, because I feel like they're in a very, very interesting position where they have the luxury of time, and time is such a valuable commodity in the gaming industry. When you have companies like 2K, where they have to pump out games every year. WWE 2K 19, 17, 18, 19, 2020, NBA 2K 18, 19, 2020. When you have games like that, or Activision with COD, or whatever, when you have these companies that are forced to throw these games out every single year, or other companies that have to produce a game at least every 2 to 3 years, lest their entire company crumble beneath them, or do the EA model where you're forced to gobble up studios, have them shit out a title full of nostalgia, and then close the studio afterwards just to survive. When Rockstar has the luxury of time, they don't have to worry about doing any of those things. They can take 7-8 years between titles. They can do that. And when they say, hey, we're coming out with something, everybody stops, and everybody's like, fuck, what's this? Everybody gets excited for it. And when I say everybody, I don't mean, I mean their fan base. When they announced Red Dead Redemption 2, the people who were fans of the Red Dead Redemption series, they went fucking crazy because they wanted to see what was happening. Because when Rockstar speaks, people listen. People in the gaming community listen. And I'm not trying to suck their dick. I'm just saying when this company talks, people listen. So they have the luxury of time, which, like I said before, in this industry is virtually non-existent.
I disagree, but I don't know.
Okay.
I think you're putting Rockstar on a pedestal.
I am a Rockstar fanboy, but the problem is they have the stuff to back it up. They have the evidence to back it up. I am putting them on a pedestal. I am a Rockstar fanboy because I believe that what they release is good. When they release a game, it is really good, and that's what I think. So what's your little not little? I'm not trying to belittle you. What's your rebuttal?
I don't know.
Not that this has to turn into a debate. I'm just asking.
No, but it's a good point to talk about. I'm trying to think of another studio that has such pomp, such prestige in. Let me just develop a argument here real quick,
sure.
And I'll be more than happy to sort of come out with it. So, I think Square Enix probably would be another example of games that. Hold on. I'm trying to find the. Sorry. If I could find the list of.
I'm sure there are a lot of other studios out there that can go several years between releases and still get people excited. I'm sure about that. But,
okay, so just sort of as a 2008 to 2013 to now, when it comes to let's look at another company, like let's say Square Enix.
Okay.
2013. Okay, well, I guess this is almost a perfect example of this. So they've got Dragon Quest, they've got Final Fantasy, Sleeping Dogs, Bravely Default. They have Tomb Raiders, Kingdom Hearts, Skylanders, if you really want to count that. Looks like they were in charge of a couple of Call of Duties. They're apparently they're working with Blizzard Entertainment on Diablo 3. Thief, Deus Ex. It's like, okay, well then you have, so Square Enix. You know, they have tons of different titles underneath their belts, and I guess that could be a different argument, is number of active titles versus number of, new games that are coming out. So it's like, okay, obviously Square Enix has so many more IPs that they own, like I said, with these big and I would almost say at this point that yes, Square Enix would also have that same clout and same sort of pomp behind them, that if Square Enix said, hey guys, guess what? New Final Fantasy game's coming, everybody would lose their minds as well. It's almost to the same effect that if Rockstar did the exact same thing. I would almost even say to a further point as well. Now, it definitely depends on the IP, because obviously nobody's going to like lose their mind for a brand new Dragon's Quest game, or maybe not so much for the next Hitman or the next Tomb Raider game or whatever. Right. But like, I don't know. That may just be me speaking of my own ignorance on the matter, but I just feel like, there are big companies that have a large amount of clout.
Yeah.
But yet I don't know. I'm not in charge. I really can't speak on this whole thing. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Who knows? Let us know in the comments if you agree.
Please, for the love of God, just comment. I don't care if you tell us to go fuck ourselves. Just say something.
Yeah, if you honestly disagree with me, then please feel free to let us know. And or K, whatever. No, if you disagree with K, you don't talk to him. He's sensitive. No, I'm kidding. No kid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Rockstar doesn't have a lot of titles. They really don't. And I'm not trying to suck their dick. I am putting them on a pedestal. I know I am. I'm not going to be so ignorant to the fact, or to the point where I'm like, I don't think I am, but no, I fucking am. I'm a Rockstar fanboy because I really love GTA. I really love Red Dead Redemption. I love the series. It's great. But whatever. But I don't know. It's impossible to deny their success with the relatively few titles they have. That's kind of why I don't really mind the gap between titles, because I know that when they what's the fucking word? I'm losing myself. What's the word? What? I was trying to say something else, but yeah, it's inevitable. Inevitably. When they inevitably release a new title, I know it's going to be good. Because GTA broke boundaries with like 3 main characters. Red Dead Redemption, pushed graphics and it did really, really well story-wise. It's a really good game, and the online mode is not that bad. And obviously GTA Online just blew everything out of the fucking water. So I know that when they do inevitably release a new title, I know that it's going to be really, really good. And I feel like that's also why a lot of people are disappointed in the fact that we're not getting a new Grand Theft Auto right now on the new console when it comes out. I think that's why a lot of people are disappointed, because they, I'm not speaking about the haters, I'm talking about the people who actually like the series. I'm assuming they're disappointed because they know that when Rockstar releases something, it's going to be really good. If you're fans of GTA, you're usually going to like the next installment of the series. So when the next one comes out, people are going to like it. And I think that's why they're upset, because they want to experience that fresh new GTA experience. They want to have that. They don't want the same old Grand Theft Auto 5, Grand Theft Auto Online. They don't want that. They want to experience something completely new. They want a new installment. And I totally understand that, being a fan of the series myself. The series as a whole, not just 5, not just that one title, not just that one installment. I'm a fan of the entire franchise. I do want to see GTA 6. I do want to see any other installment, be it a side thing like San Andreas was. I do want to see that. But I am also willing to wait because I know that the wait is going to be worth it.
Sort of wanted to make sure that you had the last line when it came to that, since you're obviously the one that knows more about this developer in these games, so that's cool.
I am no expert.
Just leave it there.
I am no expert.
You have more expertise on the matter than I have. I think the only GTA game I ever played was Grand Theft Auto 3, and I've never played a Red Dead, so whatever.
I would honestly recommend it. Get it for PC. I think you would have a little bit of fun with it. I think it's a really good game, and I'm not speaking as a Rockstar fanboy. I'm speaking as a gamer. They're really good games.
As a gamer,
I'm speaking as a gamer. They're really good games.
Wow.
That's my thought on it, and it's really good.
I will add it to the list of games I will eventually get to.
Ha! He'll never get to it.
Nope. Considering I've got another 1,000 games ahead of it now.
God. It just keeps getting longer.
So
yeah.
But
anyway, that's my thoughts on the whole matter, and people and you are free to disagree, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to really debate any further. I'm just like, that's just my stance on it.
Right. Well, why don't you go ahead and bring it on home then, Kay?
Okay. You think we're done? You don't have anything else you want to throw up?
I think we're pretty much done. Other than
I just had another poor choice of words, didn't I?
It's perfectly fine. Other than go check out my new project I'm working on right now, Mummified Games.
Yes, I am interested.
I'm trying to do daily uploads of quick game reviews and whatnot. Daily as in weekdays, not weekends. I don't want to kill myself. So go check that out. Other than that, I got nothing else to plug or talk about.
Okay.
Hopefully this episode will be up in the next week. And so, yeah, I think these daily uploads with Mummified Games is keeping my editing skills sharp.
Good.
And so I think it'll keep my process streamlined, and it will only better the production of this show as well.
That's awesome. And
this show will help production of the other thing and this and that and blah blah blah, but never necessarily crossing the streams necessarily in that respect.
I really do like your profile picture for Mummified Games. I like that.
It's just a placeholder for now.
I know, but I like it. Coin. I like that.
Coin.
That's all I think, because I saw that episode. It was really fucking cool. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, I guess we will go ahead and bring things around, wrap it up in a nice big bow, and say thank you to everybody for listening to this installment of the Maybe Pile podcast. Feel free to follow the show on Twitter at MaybePilePod. I hope I got that right.
Yep.
Fucking A. I should stop asking that because that makes me sound like a fucking idiot. Follow Tony at Mummified Tony. Please go check out his new gaming channel, Mummified Game, and follow him on Twitter at Mummified Tony. I already said that. Follow me on Twitter at Kiryoku Writes. And if you have anything to ask us, please either tweet it to us using hashtag AskTheMaybePile, or just tweet to us directly, but use the hashtag, please. That'd be easier for us to streamline it. Because, we get so many tweets. We're so famous.
Because we're just so inundated with, well, I do live on Twitter, so, it is what it is.
I used to. I try not to anymore because I hate that place. God. It's annoying, but whatever.
Anyway.
I'm just kidding. All right.
It's fine.
So, thank you to everybody for listening. And stay safe and have a good one. We will see you later. And goodbye.
Later.